righty. Happy Saturday. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching the replay. Thanks for everything. I appreciate you. Okay, we are going to get right into it. Thank you all so much. I hope all is well with everybody. And I hope you are staying safe out here. And I just pray all is well with you. Okay, I don't see anyone in the chat right now, but we're going to get started anyway. Thank you for catching the replay. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. If you join in for the first or second time, you are welcome. If you are a regular, you already know you're welcome. So welcome all. We're going to talk about etiquette today. Etiquette. And this is very important to me. Thank you, Daniel Berry. Welcome in. Happy Saturday to you. We're going to talk about something that is very important. And sometimes I just think this particular thing called etiquette has gone out the window. But we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. Yesterday I talked about setting boundaries, and today we're going to talk about etiquette. I realize that many content creators take off on the weekends. They may not do YouTube on Saturday or Sunday, but that's okay. Sometimes I may take off those days, but I'll take off any day. Any day I feel that I need to take off, I need a mental health day, I need a self-care day, I will take off. It could be any day in the week. But here we are today on this beautiful Saturday. It's very warm in my corner of the world. I mean, it is hot, y'all. It is in the 90s, so you know that's hot. With a little breeze stirring, but when it's this hot, it just seems to blow out hot air. But anyway, we're thank you for coming in, Daniel, and I will link your channel on the community page and invite people to give you a visit. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. So let's get into this message on etiquette. And let me just say one thing. Please don't come for me in the comments. If you don't agree with what I say about etiquette, it's okay. It's all right. No problem. But this is just my take, what I believe etiquette is. You don't have to agree, whatever. But I will be stopping and talking along the way. Hi, Joshua. Welcome in. Thank you for coming. So we're going to talk etiquette today. And etiquette is no more than polite behavior in society, polite behavior to others. That's all it is. Just being polite to people. And being polite is not hard. It's it's just what it says. Polite behavior. Being respectful, being nice, being kind, or whatever. Okay, when you greet people, greet them properly with a hello, a hi, how are you doing, handshake for the guys, or it may be for the ladies too. You know, if you're meeting somebody, depending on the situation, the occasion, a simple hello, a smile, because you know a smile goes a long way. This is part of etiquette. Thank you, Boss Lady Denise, for coming in. Thank you, Frank G. All of my fam, thank you so much. And I will link your channels and invite people to visit you on the community page. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I was trying to do it all the time, but it became overwhelming, especially when I was walking every day. You know, I was behind in getting the names out there on the community tab, but I'm going to do that today. It may take me a little while, but I'll get it done. And this is just to put you out there that people can see you and link to your channel. You know, click on it and visit you. You know, they may want to become family members. But talking about etiquette, polite behavior, greeting people properly with a smile, a handshake, a simple hello, or how are you today? How are you doing? Please and thank you. It doesn't hurt to say, may I have that, please? Please, can you repeat that? Or can you repeat that, please? Can you hand me such and such, please? And thank you. A simple thank you. I try to remember these polite behaviors because I was taught them by my mom many years ago from a little girl. When somebody gives you something, say thank you. Nobody owes you anything. I tried to when I found out about the mentions on the phone. My grandson called that to my attention because I didn't realize that. It's been a long time ago now. But I try to make a comment and thank people when they mention me, when they shout me out. I don't, this is me personally, I don't just put a heart. I just say thank you so much, because it's just a part of me. It just comes naturally. I don't have to work at it to say please and thank you. It was instilled in me early on, so I have not forgotten that part of etiquette. And be mindful how you talk, your language, the manner in which you speak to people. Be very careful about that. You know, be easy when you talk to people. Watch your language when you talk to people. That's another part of etiquette. Respect people, respect their spaces, respect their limits. And it kind of ties into what I talked about yesterday concerning setting boundaries. You know, all of that is a part of good manners. Beware of people's spaces, personal limits. You don't just go to a person's home and just take over. You don't just grab a person's keys and get in their vehicle and drive off and they didn't give you permission. Let's just be mindful of these things. And when we're at the table, good table manners. We must have good table manners. Don't put your elbows on the table. I remind my 4-year-old grandson all the time, take your elbows off the table. Now, chew your food properly. It's said that we should do 20 chews per bite. That doesn't apply for some softer foods like fruits and some other soft things. They don't require a lot of chewing. But I have seen some people just bite and swallow, not chewing too much at all, bite and swallow. And I know sometimes we eat faster than we should. I do it because when I was working, we had a limit for lunchtime, so you had to do it hurriedly. But I know it's not good. It's not even good for our digestive system to not take our time and bite, and chew and chew and chew. Now, I understand mukbanging, and I'm not talking about people that do mukbanging and maybe lick their fingers and all, because this is a part of their content and this is part of the act. I'm not speaking on them because I'm really convinced that a lot of the people who mukbang know how to eat, know how to themselves at a dinner table. So I'm not speaking on mukbangers at all. I'm talking about just ordinarily in certain situations, if you're out to dinner with family, colleagues, guests, or whatever, friends. I'm not talking about doing mukbanging. I'm not talking about that. Because ordinarily, if you're at a dinner table, you're at a business meeting, you're not going to be licking your fingers. You're not going to have a greasy mouth. You're going to use your napkin. So I'm talking about in an ordinary situation, nothing to do with mukbanging, bongers. So let's be clear on that. And please, please don't come for me in the comments. Okay, dressing appropriately. A lot of dress in public is not appropriately. That's a part of etiquette. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. You know what dressing appropriately is. You know what you wear. You have dress wear, casual, sports wear, and you know when you're going to certain events what type dress may be for sports, casual, dress wear. So let's be mindful of how we dress. Now, when we're at home, you want to be naked. That's your business. You're in your home. Nobody has anything to do with that. But just dress appropriately if you're going out in public. Now, this is one that I'm guilty of. I know better, but I'm guilty of it. Put away your phones. When you're talking to people, and I have to tell my grandson, give people your attention. When you're talking to somebody, put away your phone. Don't be looking down at your phone texting while somebody is talking to you. Don't be sitting in class on your phone, looking at apps, texting, and the teacher is trying to teach. Give her your undivided attention. When we're at a dinner table, we should not be texting. We should be interacting with the people that we're out to dinner with. But I see a lot of this now. Everybody's on the phone, from the grandma to the mama to the dad to the children, what have you. Now, I'm guilty of this in that sometimes when we go out to dinner, not all the time, or when we go out to breakfast, I'm doing a video. I'm going live. I know that is not good table manners to be going live, talking to, turning my attention to the chat, and I have 6 other people at the table with me. And that's why when I do it, it's mainly with family, and they understand that I'm getting content. but it's not good table manners, and I know it. But I try not do it if I am out with other people. If I'm out somewhere, I may do a quick shot of my food, but I don't try to be live in the presence of others like that. Grandma Lynn, I see many walking in the parking lot with their heads down, not a safe thing. Yes, Grandma Lynn, when I was working, there was this doctor that was my colleague, and he would read all the time, and he would leave out the building, go to the sidewalk with a book in his hand, and he would be walking and reading. I have passed him on the sidewalk, another colleague and I, he never looked up. That is not good. That is not being safe. He would have a book. I have seen people in cars reading and driving. That is not safe. That is really not safe to do that. Hey, Miss Queen Eats, welcome in. How are you doing? Happy to see you. Hello, Official Jamie. Welcome in, my member. Welcome in, Bud Files. Welcome in, Boss Lady Denise, my member. Welcome in all of my family members, each and every one of you. I am happy to see you. Eating, swallowing large chunks of food is not good for the stomach. Right. It's not good for your digestive system. Thank you so much, Official Jamie. And thank you so much for those of you who will go back and watch the replay. Thank you, Miss Queen Eats. I love my plants. Thank you so much, R and Bay, for being here. I'm happy to see you. Frank says we live in a world the phone and social media is controlling us. You're right, Frank. It takes our attention away from everything. And for those who are coming in, now I'm talking a little bit about etiquette, just being polite, polite behavior. That's what etiquette is all about. Now, this is one, like I said, my manners is not good. Even eating with family, when I'm trying to do a live and eat at the dinner table, out at a restaurant, that is not good and proper table manners, I will say. And being a good listener, we have to listen to what people are saying and not be interruptive. Sometimes I will do that because I, I'm thinking I'm going to lose my train of thought, which I do sometimes, but I know that is not polite behavior. I know sometimes I will say, excuse me, I don't mean to be talking while you're talking. So there are things that I need to work on, and there are things that many of you need to work on. We don't have it all together. I don't pretend to have it all together because I know I need a lot of work. I am under construction. I am a work in progress. So, another thing, excuse me. When you step over somebody, say excuse me. When you try not to reach over people, but if you do, say excuse me. If you step on somebody's toes, say excuse me. You know, you know when to say excuse me. You know when you have crossed that line and you have done something to another that is not polite. You say excuse me. You say excuse me. Now, this one, hey Annabelle, no, you're never late. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Catch the replay if you can. Hey Gwen Michelle, you're driving to work. Be safe out there. Be careful. Catch the replay if you can. Thank you all so much. Now, first, let me tell you about this next point that I'm going to make. It's the way I was raised. And like I said, please don't come for me in the comments. If you don't agree with what I said about polite behavior, you don't have to. I understand, but don't come for me in the comments, please, because this is what I was taught, this is what I believe. Not telling you what to do. I don't care what you do. You know, that's your business. I'm not trying to teach you. I try to teach my children and teaching my grandchildren. Now this one, I'm going to tell you, I am a Southern woman. I was once a Southern girl. Now I'm a Southern woman. And in the South, I know you all have heard of Southern hospitality. In the South, it's a Southern thing. Not saying that if you live in the Midwest or the North or the Northeast or the West or the East or other regions that you don't have hospitality, but they just talk so much about Southern hospitality. It's one thing in the South. Most Southerners, if they are walking and they pass by someone sitting on the porch or whatever, they're going to say hi. They don't know them. Hello. Or they're going to wave. This is what we do in the South. And I've only lived in the South all of my life. Southeastern United States. This is where I was born, and this is where I was raised, and this is where I live now. Now, one thing I was taught from a little girl by my mother. My mother did the teaching. My mother did the teaching. And you know, your parents are your first teachers. So some people, fathers did the teaching. But with me, my mama was the disciplinarian and she was the teacher. And my mom used to substitute teach sometimes, you know, at the neighborhood schools and stuff. And so, you know, she had that spirit of teaching. It was just on her. And she taught me a lot of positive things. My mama taught me manners. She taught me etiquette, and a lot of things, ways that I should dress, ways I should not dress. Okay, but this one thing here, my mom taught me to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, no, sir. She taught me this. And she always said, if it is an elder, put a handle on their name. You say Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so. Or if you want to call them auntie or uncle, like where I came from, we called many people in the community auntie and uncle. You know, we call people our own generation's cuz. Hey, cuz, how you doing? We don't have to be blood related, but I just think it's a thing of just being respectful and being polite. I remember one time my mom had to tell this young lady, my mom's name is Ruby. This young girl, she is younger than I am. And when she was in high school, she called my mama Ruby. Her mama called my mama Ruby, of course, but she was a teenager. And I think my mama had to tell her, I'm not your playmate. You know, I'm not your playmate. And this is just the way it is in the South. You don't walk around and call elders, not in the black, I'm going to say this, in the black culture, you do not call elders that's old enough to be your mom, that's old enough to be your grandmom, your great grandmom. You do not call them by their name. My mama used to always say, put a handle on the old folks' names. I grew up that way. I grew up that way. You're older than me, much older than me, old enough to be my parents. You are Miss and Mister. It's just polite. It's just courteous. Sometimes you might even call people that are younger than you Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so. It's not slavery. It's being polite and courteous. Some people say, oh, that's just slave mentality. No, it's not. It's just being polite that you call the elders. Unless somebody say, don't call me miss, you can call me by my name. If somebody tells you that, then that's fine. My director, when I was working, I had been working in the department longer than he had been there. And I was calling him Dr. So and so for a few years. And finally, he saw me in the hall one day. And he said to me, Pat, don't call me doctor, call me Ed. He said, we're friends, we're colleagues. Don't call me doctor. And from that day forward, I started calling him Ed. That's what he told me to call him. But I was respectful of his position and his title. But he, and I worked with many PhDs, and we all call each other by our first name. You know, if it's a nickname, we say the nickname or whatever, or by their first name. They were not hung up on, oh, I'm Dr. So and so. I'm Dr. I had a friend, God rest his soul. He was just a honorary doctor, but he was Dr. So and so. Some people are just like that. You know, they're just like that. But you know who you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I have seen realtors with doctorate degrees, and they are Doctor So and so on their card. Why? You can be Miss So and so. Nobody cares that you are Doctor So and so. I mean, come on now. You're doing real estate. I believe in honoring your position. If I were introducing you as a speaker, by all means, you are doctor. But I'm just saying we can respect people. We can respect people no matter the age. You okay, I'm gonna say for instance, in the chat right now, I have in the chat Miss Queen Eats. When I type, she's Miss Queen Eats. That's her handle on this channel. You know, so Grandma Lynn. Grandma Lynn, she is, or Sister Lynn to me. But yes, we just, and with my, let me say this about the yes ma'am and the no ma'am. I have, one of my grandsons is 4 years old. Very bright young child. And we constantly tell him, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. But he's in the teaching stage now. And when he says yes, I will say yes, ma'am. My daughter will say yes, ma'am. But we're training him now. We live in the South, and it's not going to hurt you to say yes, ma'am. No. You may not say it in the West, because I have family living in the East, the West, the North. They don't say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. I mean, it's a cultural thing. You know, they don't say, it's fine if you say yes, not yeah, huh, and that. Just a simple yes, because I realize they live in different regions and they're taught differently. But I'm in the deep South, and it's always been yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Please, thank you, excuse me. It's just being polite, that's all. And I tell you, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am will take you a long way. I told my son and I told my grandson, if you're ever stopped by the authorities, always say, yes, sir. When you go in a courtroom where a judge is, you don't go before the judge saying no and yeah and uh-huh and uh-uh. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir. And it's not being like what I've heard some people say, oh, that's slave talk. No, it's not. It's just a part of being polite with everybody. I don't care the color, the age, I mean, the color, the race. It's just being polite, or the age, just being polite, you know. And I dare not let my 17-year-old grandson call a 50-some-year-old person by their name. My grandson wouldn't do it because he's been taught better and he knows better. No, that is not the way I was raised, and I hold on to some of the values. I don't do everything the way my mom and my dad did them, but it's some core values that I do hold on to, like being polite, please and thank you. I hold on to those values because they are a part of me. Okay. Hey, Lisa, thank you in home training etiquette 100. You're right. That's exactly right. Some people didn't get it at home, Lisa. Some people uh, were not taught because the parents were not taught. And another thing along the lines of being polite, stop allowing your children to look in adults' mouth while they're talking, in their face. I was taught when I was growing up, even if you have to be in the same room, you better look the other way. Don't look up in there. You might be listening, but don't look in adults' mouth while they're talking. They're not talking to you. Now, these are just some respect goes a long ways, and I tell you what, you can go and interview for a job. I don't care if the employer is a person of another color. It has nothing to do with that. I don't care if the person looks like you. It's not going to hurt you to say yes, sir, and no, sir. That goes a long way, and people be watching. And that simple, polite behavior can get you hired, whereas somebody's in there that's arrogant with no manners. And I am a stickler for manners. Ooh, I am a stickler for manners. I guess because my mom drilled it in me, and I drilled it in my children. So, and I'm teaching, I'm assisting in teaching my grandchildren. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Remember, that's because I'm a Southern woman, and that goes to everybody. It's just some ways you conduct yourselves around certain people. You know, your language, watch your tone, watch what you say. You know, some things that these children will discuss with the parents, I would be too ashamed. I would be because um, my mom is my mom, my dad was my dad, and I just had respect. I mean, I can talk to you about what I need to talk to you about, but I can't talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you about every personal thing. This is just me. Some people are more open, but I realize I'm a private person to a certain degree. So, you know, this is me. I'm an individual. I'm not criticizing anybody that's more open because everybody's an individual. We talked about that. So, but we're just talking about simple politeness and respect. Kindness and manners go a long way. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Ray and Bay. R and Bay, I'm sorry. A long way. My friend's mother, who I said, yes, ma'am, nice to meet you. Yes. She said, we're were you in the military? Laugh out loud. I said, no, I was raised to address people in a certain way. She said, me, mom, so did I. Yes, absolutely correct, Grandma Lynn, absolutely correct. Yes, so I'm not saying that people in my generation gotta say yes ma'am to me, or people that may be 5 or 10 years younger than me. I'm not saying you gotta say yes ma'am to me, but I'm talking about these young ones running around here, 20s and 30 years old. Y'all need to have some respect. Like this one lady I know personally, put some respect on it, is what she likes to say. And one thing about her, she is in her 60s. She will correct anybody of any race, any color, any creed. Don't call her a girl. If you call her a girl, she flies off. Now, I'm not that. ticky about that, because I know in conversation with my peers we address each other, girl this and girl that, but she has a real problem with that. Hey, G Mama Gross, how are you doing? Welcome in, Natasha Kemp. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for being here. But I'm grateful to all of you. I have not been disrespected on this app. I have not been disrespected by people on the app in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm just talking about good manners, politeness, and so many young people need it. They especially need it when it comes to those phones. They're not paying attention. They could be in danger, walk in front of a car, head buried down in the phone, and that is not good. Okay, R and Base says, when my boys were growing up, some of their friends tried to call me by my first name. I nipped that in the bud. Absolutely, absolutely. My mama would do it, like I told you, this one girl, she wasn't my peer, but my mama told her, I am not your playmate. Grandma Lynn says, yes, and please chew with your mouth closed. That's another one. I had that in mind, but I didn't write it down. Yes, chew with your mouth closed and don't try and talk with a mouthful of food. Yes, table manners, good manners. And as I said, this has nothing to do with the mukbangers, because I know this is their content. This is the way it's done. It's an act. But I bet you every one of them know good table manners. And when they're in the presence of company or out at a restaurant, I'm sure they know what to do. Yes. So please, y'all, if anybody's trolling, don't come for me in the comments. This is my belief. This is the way I was taught. You don't have to take in any of these uh, uh, manners, roles, or etiquette rules. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say roles. Rules. You don't have to. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If you don't like it, you can just scroll. You don't have to listen to it. That's one good thing about it. If you don't agree with something, if you don't call me mom, sorry. Yes, I knew what you were saying. I looked at it after I read it. I knew what you were saying. Yes, these cell phones are always doing something uh, funny. Auto correct, auto fill, whatever you call it. Kindness and manners go a long way. That's right, R and B. That's right. So true. And and Frank said, I was raised on the yes ma'am, yes sir life too, yes. Yes, many people were not, because I had a family member to tell me one time, I was trying to talk to him, and he doesn't live in the South, and I was telling him some things correct to do, and he got off the phone with me, and he thought I didn't hear him. He said I was old fashioned. So let me be old fashioned. I will continue to be old fashioned. It hasn't been bad for me being old fashioned. It got me in some good places and good spaces. Um, it landed me some good jobs being old fashioned and going to school. So, yes, and I like psychology. I took a lot of undergrad psychology courses, and I started majoring, well, a master's, pursuing a master's in counseling. But of course, I did not complete it. I didn't get my master's, but I did take classes in counseling and a lot of psychology classes. So I really like psychology, and I like to talk about interpersonal relationships and those kinds of things, because these were things that were discussed in the classroom and things we were graded on. So, yes. However, I didn't do it as a career, and I know I missed my calling in that area, but I still do it a little bit on the side as a hobby. I did it a little bit with individuals that came to me. So I still am trying to help people wherever I am, trying to teach. And I have a full time job training my grandchildren because all of this stuff starts at home. It starts at home. You have to train early. Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Didn't say that he wouldn't stray. He would stray a little bit sometimes. But even if you do stray, you can be like the prodigal son. You can come back home to where you belong and the things you were taught, the ways in which you were trained. You can come back home to those things. So that's what I had to say. Just wanted to talk about etiquette, and I'm still going to get around to the procrastination topic that I want to talk about. And I have some topics in my head that I want to address 30 or 40 minutes, and just give my take on it and talking to you guys just a little bit to impart some wisdom that I have. I just want to do that. I want to uplift, motivate, encourage, help those that may need it, because it could be something, if it's just one thing that I have said and that you can take away that I said, or something that will make you think, will trigger your mind, then what I've said is not in vain because I've helped somebody. And that's my mission here, to help. I want to help as many people as I can in a positive manner. Thank you, MTGV Crime Podcast, Miss V, member for 15 long months. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maritza's Yarn and Crafts, for coming. Thank you, G3GS, J3, I'm sorry, J3 GS Farm. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for being here. And another thing, if I miss you in the chat ever, and if I miss your comments, it's never intention. Because for me, that is a part of politeness, to speak to everyone that I see in the chat. I'm a small channel. I don't have that many people in my chat. So I try to, especially when I'm seated, like now I'm sitting on my patio just chilling and talking to you guys. A lot of times when I'm walking outside, I'm very conscious of my surroundings. I'm looking around. I miss chat, the chat and the comments. I miss people, and I'll go back and look, and I'll say, oh, I miss that person. I have been known to go to their channel and tell them sorry for missing them in the chat. I didn't see them. I know you can't always do that, especially if you have a large channel. But as long as I can do it, I am going to be courteous. I am going to give back. And I am going to, respect all, speak to all. It's just a part of who I am. Not everybody is like that. And I understand that because I remember now we're all individuals. We have our own individuality. Not saying it is bad, not saying I'm so good, because I'm not. It's just that certain things I have been taught, certain things I have lived through, certain things I have experienced because I've been living for quite a while. I just know. But not saying I'm perfect. But a child can tell you something. If you listen, sometimes children, from the mouth of babes, sometimes they can tell you things and you can listen. So that's all I'm trying to do. Out of the mouth of a seasoned woman. That's all I'm trying to do, just to impart some wisdom and maybe tell somebody something that didn't register with them, or that they hadn't been taught, or they have forgotten. This is my job. This is part of what I do. My channel is Patty's Kitchen Garden and More, and the and more is just what it says: motivate, inspire, encourage, show you what I'm doing with my health and fitness, taking you out with me on different occasions, and I'm gonna start traveling um, again, and I will be doing some fun things, taking you with me. John Pohl, how are you doing? Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm trying to see if I missed a comment. Okay, Grandma Lynn said true. When I lived in North Carolina, we said hello to folks we passed by. Yes. And OK Lounge, Gwen Michelle said, yes, ma'am. We wave and say howdy do. Yes, ma'am, we do. We do. Yes, we do. And I'm not ashamed of the way I was raised. I'm happy about how I was raised because I know how to be polite. I know how to be polite. So, Sweet Thumb, welcome in. I have been in the bushes listening. Thank you for your thoughts. I enjoy hearing your findings. Thank you so much for coming, Sweet Thumb. Thank you all for speaking to everyone. You're starting to travel next month. That is great. That is great, John Pohl. That is really, I like traveling. And Maritza, I know I spoke to you, but welcome in. And again, if you are tuning in for the first or second time, you are welcome, welcome, welcome. My old regulars already know you're welcome. I tell you all the time, and I tell you how important you are to me. All of you matter. All of you matter. Thank you for your memberships. Thank you for your super chats, super stickers, cash apps, your thumbs up, the comments you make, the replays you watch, the shorts you look at, the lives you attend. I am grateful for all of it, all of it. And if I missed one, just know I am grateful for everything. You do not owe me anything. Out of the goodness of your hearts and wanting to come and listen to what little old me might be saying, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So you all be careful out there. It's the weekend. Be careful. I don't think I think I have addressed the comments. Frank says I was raised on the yes man. I think I read that one. You don't really hear ma'am and sir no more these days. You're right, Frank. You're right. You love the view, Annabelle. Thank you so much. And Frank says, I see so many people walking down the street yelling on their phone. Yes, Frank, I pulled up at a fast food place a while ago. And this guy came out the back door. I was in the line. I had ordered, and I was in the line, but my vehicle had stopped right by the back door. That man came out that back door. He didn't have his phone to his ear. He was on speaker mode. He was fussing and cussing at somebody on the other end. I could barely hear what they were saying. And I just looked, I rolled up my window. I said, Lord, Lord, what is going on here? What is going on? Thank you all so much for coming. But you're right, Frank. They be yelling and screaming and cussing and fussing. If I'm walking, I try to get out of their way. You know, like if I'm on the sidewalk going in a store or something like that. I mean, they have tuned everything out around them, and they just be fussing and cussing. Yeah, they do. Sometimes it be a little comical to me. Yeah. And I said, now, and he looked like he had his apron on and everything. I guess he was one of the cooks. And he wasn't if I had to guess, that man was at least between 50 and 60, if I had to guess. I mean, he wasn't a teen or 20 or 30 years old, not even 40, but he was picking them up and putting them down. I'm telling you, he know he was fussing and cussing. Yep, I say now I hope when he goes back in that restaurant, he will wash his hands because he got his hands all on his nasty phone. And all of our phones are nasty. That's why we have to keep with the wipes and clean them off and wipe. The keyboards, the phones are two of the nastiest things. We have to keep them clean. We do. And I said, Lord, I hope he washes his hand, puts that phone in his pocket and washes his hands before he goes back because he looked like he was one of the cooks. But I guess he had something to say and it couldn't wait until he got off. Yeah. So y'all have a great weekend today. Have a happy Sunday, a happy rest of your day today. And for those of you who are fathers in the chat and you celebrate Father's Day, I want to say enjoy your day tomorrow. But as I told you guys yesterday, Father's Day is every day. Mother's Day is every day. Every day we have parents, we should be celebrating them while they are yet living. So y'all have a great day, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for interacting with each other. And I think I have spoken to all. If I have missed anyone, please don't charge it to my heart. Charge it to my eyes that I just didn't see you, because it's never, ever my intent to overlook. Sometimes when I push the button and I look back and I will see that, oh, I missed the last person coming in. But anyway, you all are welcome. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being in the watchtower looking. I appreciate that because you may be busy. You may have things to do. Hey, Six Bows. I'm just seeing Six. How are you doing, Six Bows? Thank you for coming. I think I see, yeah, Six Bows back. Yes. Happy Saturday, Six Bows. Take care of yourself. And y'all be safe out there. Take care of everybody. And I will see you guys on the next patio talk that we do. Hope I've helped somebody. Thank you for watching and listening. I will talk to you guys soon.